Hi, I'm Mark Cullen, and you've waited all year for the color on your roses, your perennial flowering plants, and perhaps some shrubs as well. And you know what? Now that they're in full bloom, as my delphiniums are here, if you don't stake them to hold them upright, then the wind just might blow them over. Now, there are a couple of options where these beautiful delphiniums are concerned. If you only have a couple of spikes in your garden, you might want to try one of these. I call this a pigtail stake. And it's a nice, long, rigid piece of wire that's been twisted into the shape of a pigtail. And what you would do is push it into the ground and then just twist the pigtail around the main stem of your delphinium or lupin or whatever it is that you're staking up, and it would do the job very nicely. But because I have a nice cluster of delphiniums here, I'm going to use something different. By the way, my brother likes to refer to these as his drink holder. So he puts these out in the garden, puts a little drink in there, and that suits him just fine. You know, some of us would like to just get to the job and concentrate on doing the work. Instead, I'm going to use one of these. This is called a link stake. Now, a link stake is really cool because you can use any number of them to make a circle around a clump as big as it needs to be. So let's start here with a link stake on the back side of this clump, of delphiniums. And these are Pacific Giants, by the way, and I just happen to have a few of them here. And then I'm going to take another one and place it approximately halfway around and push it into the ground. And it helps when your ground is reasonably soft to do this. In other words, not clay. And that just might do it. Let's just see how we do. If I pull all of these main stems of the delphinium in together, and I pull this around, and I just simply notch that down and link it, I think that's pretty bad. So I'm going to add another one. And I say it's pretty bad because, you know, what you want ultimately is a look that is natural, but obviously if it was completely natural, you wouldn't be staking it. So I'm going to add another link stake in here just to see if that doesn't make it look a little more natural. You want to support them, but you don't want to hug them so tight with a stake that, just let me push that in there, hitting the root of my tree. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Now, if I want to, I can secure them even more so using some natural jute twine. I love this stuff. It's inexpensive and it breaks down over time. When you're tying things up using twine, very handy stuff, make sure that you do so fairly loosely. In other words, don't tie those stems up against the stake or whatever it is you're using to support your delphiniums or other perennial plants too tightly, because if you do, you basically choke them off and they can't mature as they should. So nice and loose if you're using twine. And by the way, back to my roses for just a moment. Those roses need a little support, and I'll get busy with some twine to do that job.